Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And I am so happy to be here today. Y'all, it is you and me, an intimate conversation. And I wanted to give you all a taste, a sample of what we offer in living in the extraordinary, also, where really what I like to do there is I like to share the guidance and the wisdom that I'm receiving. There's a lot of channeled messages, excuse me, that comes through. And it's really profound in a lot of ways. And there's some people from the light community that are here that may want to share about that a little bit later. But for me, more so, it's about, I wanted to share my journey into my growth into this. And while I had a very specific wiring that came in and always had that intuitive ability, sparks of psychic information that would come in if I knew someone was going to pass, knowing almost exactly to the T when I was going to get divorced. Actually, no, exactly to the T. Knowing that I was going to get in a relationship with someone who had a terminal illness before they even knew that that was going to happen, and moving forward with it, regardless of the anxiety or the fear that that information would have brought in. And how those messages and the channeling and the guidance that came in from absolutely other realms served as a guidepost for me. And I share on Light how you too can do this for yourself, how you can tune in, how when we overcome our limiting beliefs, how when we step into a practice of trusting ourselves and being light about it, pun intended, I guess, of living in the extraordinary light, but truly having a levity with how we communicate information as it is given to us, and then how we share that with others. And it's in this sharing that, in a very safe way, I would have to say that over the last 10 years, I've been able to co-create and wind and weave with speakers who are absolutely connected to other realms, who are channels for collective consciousness, who can have profound psychic abilities that they can name the specific name of your grandmother who passed away 25 years ago, with having no other knowledge. And while we're all fascinated by their gifts, I'm here to tell you that you have those gifts in different ways as well. And so my invitation on this call is to open to the lightheartedness, again, the levity of how this information may flow without the need to have to force it, but playing with it, being aware that it's information and relationships from other realms that you do have access to. And rather than forcing it or trying to create a scenario, is leaving the door open for that information, for those beings, for that love to cross through for you, to be in relationship with you. When the time is right, when it feels right, knowing that it's your open heart, your innocence, and really your capacity, and for many of you, of wanting to serve others. But you have to understand that when you seek to serve others, it's something that you're healing within yourself. When your pure intention is to be of service to others, pause and understand that you are in receptivity also. And it's in being open to that receptivity that the floodgates open in ways that you would find perhaps unimaginable, but it happens. It's not in trying so hard to be in relationship with someone, but rather allowing the flow of relationship to occur. I mean, how many of y'all have been in a situation where you wanted to be a friend or a lover or in a partnership with someone else, and the more you chased, the more they ran? And that's a trauma type of bonding. And most people don't want to respond to that unless they're a match for it. And if they're a match for it, you'll be playing out some growth, absolutely, and some learning how to receive and give love. But you're also replaying some of the trauma that, frankly, I think most of y'all have probably overcome, but you're just not aware of it. It's a question of how do we let it go? How do we reframe the old patterns that really aren't serving us? But if we think about it, what we're playing out is more of the echo of the pattern in these times that we are now than the actual pattern itself. I would say those of y'all who've been listening to BTO, who've been following other speakers who've been on this spiritual type of exploration, that what you're feeling now are the echoes. And if you're feeling it strongly, the pattern has gotten faint, but what's also happened is you've become more sensitive. And so what if you can have trust and faith that that is already unraveled? That as information comes through that reminds you of the past, or reminds you of something that you don't want to step back into, that triggers a physical response, that fight or flight chemistry that flows through your body. What if you've already dealt with that? What if that karma has already died and transformed? And what if it's just the memory of it? There's that last piece of that rubber band that's pulling you back, and that you're ready to cut the ties on that. Now we tell you that that's probably the case for most of us. By the way, I'm going to open up to a ton of Q&A. I'm pulling cards. I did this in the Living in Extraordinary community, the membership community, on Monday, and it was so much fun. And I want to extend that to y'all here today. And so we'll get into some card readings. I may go into a deeper reading with you other than the cards, depending on how the energy flows. And we're going to open up to a lot of Q&A because I want to get a lot of feedback loop with you today. There's a lot of energy that's moving through. There's a big solar spike that's been happening over the last 3 or 4 days. There's a lot of agitation that's in the field. There's a lot of financial fear in the collective, again, with inflation, with spikes, with Europe talking about interest rates increases and not sure what to do because of Russia's control of gas prices and trying to let, it's a lot of information that's flowing through. But I want to tell you, it doesn't have to be the information for you right now. If you can be right here, right now, in the present with us, your next step will be revealed to you. Whenever you feel the wave, that tornado of something outside of you taking you into its vortex of fear or anxiety or worry, or an energy just keeps you restless all the time, just pause. Pause. Take a deep breath. Ask, is this mine or does this belong to someone else? If it's mine, I receive it. I am responsible for it. It is mine to deal with. And if it's not, I send it back into the light. Or I send it back to where it came from if it serves them. But at the very least, I'm sending it into the light for it to be transformed. I no longer claim this as my own. And I let it go. And if you need to do that several times a day, do it several times a day. It's time. It's time. These are intense, energetic times that are leading us into what we've all been waiting for. And we've been walking in it, actually. Those things that we've been waiting for, the 50, the ascension, the elevation of consciousness. Y'all, we've been doing it. And it seems like we've been doing it like the analogy of the frog in the boiling water. It's like we aren't familiar that the energies have been getting higher because it's happened so gradually and we've absorbed it. But again, one of the barometers for me is your sensitivity. And so sensitive because these little threads of the old, of the trauma, of the past that you're done with are asking to be cleaned out. It's such an impeccable energy. And it's impeccable in its compassion. It's impeccable in its intention. But make no mistake about it, as for a new reality and step into it, We're going to stumble. We're going to make mistakes. It's new territory. We're going to turn left when we're supposed to turn right. We're going to go down that highway and we're supposed to take a U-turn and go down another one. But it's going to be a different type of stumbling. It's going to be like the child in the playground or the water park, just having fun. It's going to be with a sense of purpose and encouragement. It's going to be in community where the old needs for safety, the old needs for huddling together to protect one another, for boundaries that separated us against them, that kept us sealed in a small container of those things that felt just nourishing enough so that we can try to build a semblance of life and vitality, so that we can glimpse happiness every once in a while, so that we can work so hard to reach the heavens and touch our guides and be with our oversoul, to be in relationship with the angelic, with the galactic, so that maybe we can hear a whisper of how they might be able to help us. And that time has passed. It's in you now. You have attained a certain level of mastery that gives you access to the energies that you've been looking for outside of yourself. You have integrated, it is embodied. You're getting to a period of even greater embodiment as we release these last tentacles of that trauma, the memories that you're just clearly done with. Now, in the embodiment process, I have to tell you, and y'all may not want to hear this, but it's the truth. You're responsible. You're responsible as things come up and signs get shown to you and you take actions. But you also have to take self-awareness and how you act and react and progress forward and use opportunities or don't use opportunities depending on how you gauge them. And you get to lead. There's no one that's going to lead for you. There's no one that's going to tell you to turn left when you're supposed to turn left or turn right. You're supposed to turn right. In this new realm, it's you as a creator, creating with other creator beings. And so there's not going to be a set of galactics that come down in a spaceship to pick us up and take us somewhere else. The angels aren't going to grab you by the hand and go, here you go, let me lead you over here, and you're going to be safe over here. And the rest of your life is all paved out, and you're living in Shangri-La because this is the city of gold, and you don't ever have to do a thing. No, what's needed now is your expression of love, of curiosity, the energy of awe and wonder that creates and expands into itself even more. That is what you're here for now. You're adding to this beautiful vortex of light through your creation, and it is needed. And it's up to you to choose how you express that in the world. And the only thing that you need to do is express it with love. It doesn't matter if it's cleaning your house, taking care of your children, running a platform like Beyond the Ordinary shows, speaking on stage, being a healer, being a teacher, working at the convenience store, whatever. But it's your creative expression of love and how you choose to amplify that in your circumstances. Welcome to why you're here. Welcome to the gift of receiving your soul's calling. And are you going to choose to step into it? Or are you going to keep asking the question, what's my purpose? I don't know what to do. I know I'm supposed to be a healer, but no clients are coming. I know I'm supposed to break through, but I don't know what's next. I feel I have a block. Something's holding me back. I can't quite put my finger on it. The only thing that's holding us back now is the fear of not taking action when we know something needs to be taken action on. We're afraid to make that phone call. We're afraid to look at our bank account. We're afraid to have that conversation with the person that we know that we're supposed to have that conversation with. And in this time of spiritual awakening and spiritual integrity, the procrastination of that is what keeps you from feeling that you're living in your soul's purpose. When you can face that directly, and there's no right or wrong timing, but there is the understanding that as long as this continues to linger, that what I seek is waiting for me in different ways. And you'll be met energetically in a vibrational level exactly where you are. And for a lot of y'all, that's going to be a beautiful place. But there are certain patterns, certain karma, if you will, certain scenarios where you don't have to keep repeating the loops that you repeated before, even if they're upgraded loops. There's still a version of the lack of, I'm not enough, I don't deserve, I won't be received, I don't know if, and those types of energies. I'm afraid I won't be loved. I'm afraid I'll lose my community. Can y'all resonate with that? Or if I do this, what will happen? Or I'll lose my place to live. I won't have any money. And the answers will come as you align with the integrity that you know is calling from your heart. God knows I've gone through that. I have delayed conversations that I didn't want to have. I have put off looking at things that I didn't want to look at. And sometimes rightfully so. Sometimes the timing wasn't right. When I finally did take action, it's just everything just landed on point. I was taken to the right person, to the right circumstance. This and this just opened up. So there's a flow of trust and faith with it as well. Knowing that as we do want to take action, or we do want to move forward, and it's just not quite there yet, that something in us is rising. Something in us is also revealing itself because it's rising in strength. We're integrating our shadow aspects, and it's integrating through our mind, our physical body, flowing all the way through so we can experience the entirety of the emotions as a physical sensation instead of stopping them short from arising. I have anger, let me stop it. And I stop it at my legs, or I stop it at my pelvis. I have sadness, let me hide it. Let me stop it at my heart. Let me stop it at my gut. I have fear, that's a big gut one. I can't speak my truth. Let me stop it at my throat. And as those things come up, if we breathe into it and allow it to fully go through our body, and that's just a mechanism of breathing, being present, and not trying to make those emotions wrong, and having the physical experience of it being transmuted through our body, which then expands into our energetic field, which then integrates with our ability to connect through our crown chakra up into the higher dimensions, up into the oversoul, and then bring it back down. And to circulate that energy through our body, back down through our feet, back into the central core of Gaia, so we can ground, so we can embody, so we can hold the awareness of the truth and the love that it engenders. So there's a lot of energy that's moving through y'all. And I share all this with you because y'all are ready. Again, we have speakers that share information. They can channel Magdalene or the Pleiadians or the elementals or the fairies or whatever you do. And I can do that too. And so can you. And on Living the Extraordinary, we do some of that. I do some of that. And it comes. But it also comes from a very grounded awareness of what we're ready to receive. It comes from a place that gives you permission to receive, to question, to doubt, to play, to have conversation with, because those are the things that remind us and invite us into this human experience. We're here for that. We're here to awaken to the dormancy that we have avoided being awakened for so long because it was too painful, or we were taught that we couldn't be. But the repression has eased. again, the times are expanding. And again, we're in this great Syrian portal right now. And the Lion's Gateway, the 8-8 portal, is coming in a couple of weeks. And so for a time to ground in with your love and intentions of what you want to create, what you are saying yes to let go of, not what are you willing to let go of, but what are you saying yes to let go of? What yes to risk your life? And this is a hard one for a lot of y'all. And that you're a yes to receiving the support and the help and the gifts from others to help you through this journey. How difficult is it to receive for you? You ask to receive from the spirit realm. You ask to receive from the angels, from the cosmic beings, from these masters. Would you be open to receiving from a stranger, from a friend, with the pure intention of receiving, without the expectancy of someone else holding you accountable for what they gave to you, but rather as an act of self-love that they gave to you? Just as you give selfishly, allow others to give to you. We're building in community this way. The fifth realm is about the expansion of this. It's about collaboration. It's about community. It's about uplifting each other. Where one succeeds, we all succeed. If one has a win, we all have a win. And we continue to cheer that on and support each other in it and acknowledge for it. And if one of us falls, that there's a hand that reaches out to help pick you up and that you're willing to take that hand. And that if you really need assistance, that the vulnerability and the innocence of asking for it is available to you through the wisdom of your heart. So again, we're in a beautiful time of awakening, a beautiful time of expansion. What is being shaken is happening to awaken us. Do not get caught up in the collective if it doesn't directly affect you right now. Is it going to affect you? It affects everybody. We are all connected. We're going to feel the energy of this world. The more you awaken, the more empathic you're going to be, the more sensitive you're going to be to it. And I say this not to make you afraid of your empathic abilities, which so many of y'all have, but to make you aware of the strength that you have to hold compassion. Rise up and be the example of love, of success, of compassion, of vitality that you can be, because that is what's going to lift others up. That lifts you up, and that helps others see what's possible. That gives hope. That gives inspiration. It is the rise of self through another. This was beautifully quoted to me through someone I love dearly. It's the rise of self through another. We're in intimate times. We're getting to know each other in ways we never have before. Our hearts are cracking wide open, and it's scary as hell and beautiful at the same time. And so I'm on here today to give you a nudge of hope. To share with you what I see very clearly as an absolute truth. Again, what's for you will always be for you. Do not walk forward anticipating another shoe to drop, but walk forward trusting your ability to be responsible. And in that, there's nothing that would knock you down that would take you away from the spirit and the love that you are. And it should happen to fall, there are hands that will reach out to help you. And to trust that you're always at the perfect place at the perfect time. That's just a given. Allow your love to lead the way. There is no other way. People may try to convince you, may try to put you in a different resonance to join their journey of how they see the world. But you have to dance to your own tune right now. And find those that are willing to dance with you and be open to learn from others who hold the vibrational accord that will either meet you where you are or lift you up. If there are those that pretend that want to take your energy lower for the sake of buoying others simultaneously, I wouldn't participate. It is not your job to save anyone, to sacrifice anyone. Your purpose is love. Keep the door of love open and allow the energies that are transmuting to meet you where you are in that love or above. And in that, the whole world will change around you. I promise you, I guarantee it. All right, we're going to open up to Q&A, and I'm going to start shuffling some cards and taking questions also. So I've got this beautiful deck that I've been reading from God for All. And it is charged. And whenever I work with a client with it and pull it, which I don't do it all the time, and I do with a lot of friends that come over or we're on the phone and we'll pull cards just to play. And it's so accurate. It's so accurate and so relevant to whoever I'm pulling cards for, including me. I mean, I've been known to pull the same card 5 times in a row, 5 days in a row. It's like, okay, here we go again. That's the energy. The same for other people. So, and if you want to ask just a general question, we can take questions also. So again, we're going to play today. And if y'all want to type your question, any type of question into the chat box, you can type that in also. So I'm gonna get on here and start promoting some of y'all to panelists, and we're gonna have a little fun with Q&A. And again, we're supposed to have Colby Wilk on today, and he is not well, could barely talk. So I decided to take this opportunity to be with y'all, us one-on-one in this playground, and to promote the membership side. I don't promote it too much. There's a small group of us that are on there right now. It's very intimate conversations. It's been very serious over the last 4 months. We started pulling cards this last week, our Monday call, and that was fun. So I wanted to extend that to y'all here on Beyond the Ordinary as well. So there's a lot of y'all coming on. I'm going to promote some of y'all for Living in the Extraordinary in the chat box. If any of y'all are interested in joining the Living in Extraordinary community, it's me channeling, giving wisdom, answering questions, holding space. It's really fun. We've been doing it for 3 years. If you sign up, there's a library of, I don't know, it's 3.5 years worth of content, 4 times a week. But we meet every Monday live and we take questions. And again, we just have a lot of fun with it and a lot of information, that tools that I would share with private clients. I share in Living Extraordinary. There's exercises and soul recovery and exercises to overcome limiting beliefs and to resonate higher. Membership $49 a month. It's for the membership. It's $1,500 a month to work with me on a retainer. So it's super accessible through the membership. And of course, if any of y'all are interested in one-on-one coaching, I'm taking on a small amount of clients right now for that, but that's a different conversation. The light link is there, and let's go. Hey, y'all, I'm back. I apologize. My internet service went down. But here I am back again. So Patricia, let's start with you. Welcome.
Good evening
Me.
from Belgium.
Hi.
Patricia S.
Oh.
Yes.
Hear me?
I hear you, yes.
Okay. I had a question in the chat, and it's about if I can do more to crack open the love that is in my soul so I can radiate more love to the world. If I can do more, if there are some more layers or walls or obstacles, if there is more that I can do.
Is there anywhere where you're not loving?
No.
How's your self-love?
Good.
Do you judge yourself or shame yourself or guilt yourself for the past?
That was a long time ago. I worked through that.
But do you do it now?
No.
Are you living in fear?
Yes.
What are you afraid of?
I have a child who now is with me since December. He vanished 4 years in drugs. So he has been in drugs for 10 years and he is now living with me since December. He's my only child. He has cystic fibrosis and he is in withdrawal. So my fear is that he will give up because sometimes he says that he is giving up. And he's giving up on nurturing his body with treatment and stuff. He's the only person that I have. I've raised him alone. Wow. He's 24 now. He's 24, very tall, beautiful soul, but so disappointed in life. Old soul as well.
How do you feel about the fear that you have of that?
It's a scary fear. I wish not to have it.
Right. Can you have compassion for that fear?
Yes, because I understand it. Yes.
Right? Yeah. And so how can you love more? It's like any places where there's something that you want to put away. And I'm going to mute some of the people on here. If y'all can mute yourselves, that would be wonderful.
It might be more by payments a month. More or less? That's exciting.
Y'all excuse me.
And energy, I'm doing your dog and the whole thing.
Mute Patsy. There you go. Sorry, y'all. So let me ask you this also, Patricia. So compassion for self when that comes up is beautiful. It's not that you need to love more. You're learning the act of loving these deep parts of you that can be held. And it's not that you're not loving them, but there's a depth that you're going to that perhaps you haven't reached before. So as that fear comes up, as the doubt comes in, it's like, of course you're going to be fearful. You're going to take care of your son. It's not about making that fear wrong. It's about understanding that there's love and concern that comes through. You have to be in your human experience. That's why you're here. So it's okay for that. I have to ask you, why do you feel like you're not loving enough?
Because he still can trigger me.
Ah.
He is mean.
Okay.
Right? Because he dumps it all on me. And I realized that he is able to trigger me. Also, his energy. I am an empath. I feel it all. So when he is in this passive rage and he is mean, I pick up that energy and then he triggers me. And then I think, if I could just generate more love, then that could all be transformed. And I could be in a form of clarity, so I could know how to respond to him or not respond to him, or just a bit withdraw and take time for myself.
I love that you're bringing this up. This is important for so many of us as empaths. And so with that empathic energy, again, there's different levels of alchemy that we go through as empaths, and everybody's an empath, by the way. Everybody can feel.
Oh God.
How aware we are that we can feel, that's a whole different thing. Patsy, I'm going to ask you to stay muted, please. Thank you. It's all right, Patsy, but just stop unmuting yourself because we can hear everything in the background. How we have relationship with that empathy, it's a whole different thing, and it affects us tremendously. So a lot of us, I feel everything and I don't want to feel it, and I'd rather stay with it. I don't want to go in a big room or be with someone who's angry. And of course, that makes sense because we don't want to put ourselves in environments that are harmful. But at the same time, we're not victims of the energy. As empaths, I think, and it's much more detailed and much more nuanced, but for me, there's 3 levels of empathy once you're aware that you're an empath. There's the empath that feels everything and feels victimized by it, that like they don't know, it's like, I just feel everything and I'm just like, I just need a hermit. I need to step away or only put myself in environments where I feel safe. So I don't have to pick up everybody else's stuff. Even the collective stuff, let me shut out the world. Let me dive into beyond the ordinary calls all day long, so I don't have to be absorbing anything else that might impact in a negative way. That's the first stage of empathy, where you feel everything, but you feel victimized and you just want to like huddle in the corner and only surround yourself with those things that are safe. Mm-hmm. The second phase of empathy is like, hold on a second, I know I have to relate in the world. And I realize that I don't have to be a victim. I can actually choose. And while that person can hold a particular energy, I realize I'm picking up on some of it and I'm making it mine. And I start having an awareness that, hold on a second, what's mine? What's theirs? And it doesn't necessarily have to cause me to want to hide and to retract and only be in good circumstances where only good things are talked about. Only those fun things that feel good are acceptable. Because then we're really diminishing opportunities for relating and intimacy in these other beautiful arenas that are opening. So there's an openness and that empathy that's a little more grounded and aware that the victimization doesn't serve anymore and that you have to step out. And so you start balancing the energies and you start having different relationships with it, and you start forming standards for the relational dynamics that you're in. And then again, it's the beginning of that. And then the third stage of empathy is like, you're aware that other people's stuff is other people's stuff. And that you can be in the middle of a room of arguments, of bad thoughts, of density, and you can have compassion. You can step into the room and through the doorway of the density, where the density exists and where your light actually transforms the density into another layer of levity. And so for you, it's like understanding when these energies come up, it's like, wait, how can I transform this to light without having to acquiesce my standards, but hold my energy in such a regal way that others can't help but to resonate up to it or leave the field. And how can you hold that as a standard? Not that you're saying, okay, let me be the ambassador, the diplomat, or I'll take care of my feelings afterwards because, you know, as long as they're okay, I'll be okay. That's that second stage and first stage of empathy. If they're okay, I'll be okay. And if it's as long as they're not rocking my boat, it's okay if my energy dropped a little bit and they attacked me and the energy streams came through, and I'll cleanse myself afterwards. I'll rest afterwards. I'll just breathe into, at least it's safe now. So how do you hold that field steady? How, when that energy comes in, you say, I'm not relating in that way. I'll meet you here. And you're talking to me from here. You don't have to point it out that way, but just be aware consciously. And this door is always open. Meet me up here. If you're trying to trigger me, I know that you're talking to me from here. It's like, oh, you're talking to me from suffering, from pain, from confusion, from needing attention, from needing love and not knowing how to express it. So it comes out in all these other passive aggressive or very direct attacking type of energies. And for you, and it's a practice, let me be in this regal state as much as I can and hold that standard energetically of how I wish to be, how I insist to be received, and how I hold the dignity for the other person for them to be received as well. Because this is a dignity for you as a receiver, and the dignity that you give another to invite them into the regal aspect of themselves through their soul and recognizing the love and the light that they are, past the confusion that is given them the veil, the shroud, that makes them think that they are not that they are not receiving love, that they have to fight for something in order to get it. And compassion for your son through his suffering, compassion for his confusion, compassion that he feels safe enough to react with you in that way. But again, you holding that standard as the empath who is grounded and embodied and come, I'm going to hold you up here. And I get it. It's like, okay. And don't take it personally, no matter how much it triggers you. It's like, oh, it's like, if it triggered me, that's my old wound. And I'm not going to fight that one out with him because he has nothing to do with that other than reminding you that it's there. Thank you for reminding me that it's there. Let me go deal with that. Let me go scream into the mirror by myself. Allow your primal energy. Y'all, I'm going long on this because this is so important. Allow your primal energy, your anger, to be expressed alone. Go out in the woods and scream. Go beat it out in a punching bag at the gym. Go for an aggressive run. Have passionate sex, whatever it is to move the energy. Seriously. And allow it to transmute through the awareness of your body, because we're denying our shadow side. Also, if we repress our anger, it's like it's there. And so for you to direct it in a way that's healthy, that serves you, that lets you absorb the power of it, because anger, sexual energy, sadness, all these energies are powerful tools that we have at our disposal as integrated within an awareness of the consciousness that you hold in the highest light. If it's repressed, guess what? Buried feelings never die, and they're going to come up in ways when you're triggered, unless you choose to be with them. So allow the expression of those things to come up in a very healthy way. And again, healthy may seem crazy to some people, but again, you yelling in the bathroom mirror, or you punching pillows, or doing whatever things may seem crazy, that's one of the healthiest things that you can do to allow these energies to be absorbed on a cellular level and be allies for you, rather than something that suppresses, something that you no longer need to suppress. I hope that helps.
Super, super.
Yeah, thank you so much for this question. I think it was so valuable for all of us.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to our next caller. How about Michelle? Let's go to you. It's been a while since we've talked.
Hi, John. I really could have
Hello.
used you last weekend at a family wedding. Oh my gosh. I had normally since I found BTO in February, at first I thought you were just the facilitator, and then it didn't take long before I saw that you were much, much more than that. And I've appreciated you so much. But this, I had 5 days with my mom. And she is she's a real huge energy. And but I was 5 days and I couldn't get away from her because I had to be taking care of her. And I got home and I cried for 3 days. And I still can feel that. And I feel bad because I feel like I didn't take care of my energy because I'm still exhausted. And then I feel guilty because I resented her. So it was just a whole, I thought that I was in a different place where I could manage that. I should have been journaling. I should have been. And I just got home and I collapsed, and I'm still trying to get myself back.
How about instead of trying to get yourself back, that you allow yourself to lose yourself?
I'm not a crier, but I've always, you don't get emotional, you don't allow, but I feel like there's a bit of a lake inside of me that needs to come out. And I don't want to feel bad about, I don't want to feel bad.
That's what I'm saying. Instead of trying to gather yourself, or to find yourself, allow yourself to lose yourself. Like, be brave and going into what little Michelle needs and how she needs to be held, and how if she was taught that having a tantrum was wrong, it's time for her to be allowed to have that tantrum. If she was taught that her emotions weren't valid, to validate her emotions. If she had any fears that if she showed any type of disparaging emotions that somebody else would suffer or something would be taken away from them, that it's her turn now. And what a wonderful karmic communion with your mother during this time to point this out, that you get to have that. Your mother didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just, it's coming up because this wants to, the tenderness of that, Michelle, I can feel it. I can feel like this lake just wanting to flow through me. The tenderness of you gifting, of saying yes to, okay, I'm going to lose it, and I don't know where it goes, and I don't have to know.
And I feel like, what if it doesn't stop? That the fear of, what if I don't stop crying? It's
awesome. What if it doesn't stop? Why don't you try it out? Because who's afraid of it not stopping? Is it you as an adult?
Yes.
If little Michelle, if little Michelle were your daughter, Michelle Jr., I would call her M, and she was going into a crying spout, and she was really sad or needed to throw a tantrum, and she had this fear that it's never going to stop. What would you tell her?
I'd say it's okay. I would soothe her with, it's okay to let it come out.
It's not only okay, it's natural. It's your right. And Michelle, listen to me. And I will hold you through it. You cry as long as you need to. You don't need to fix it for me. I'm not trying to make it better. I'm just going to sit here and hold you and witness you, or however you want me to be as you go through this. And you cry as long as you need to. You don't need to ever stop if you don't want to, but I'm going to be here right next to you. I'm not leaving you. We're doing this together.
That's exactly
what you're trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, isn't that exactly what you were trying to do with your mother when you went to go visit her and hold her and be with her?
And what's ironic is I didn't get that from my mother. And here I was trying to give that to her for the 5 days, but exhausted and annoyed a lot. But I didn't get that from her. And I think that is probably why I've been just some sadness with that.
And once you give it to yourself, you'll be able to gift it to another.
Oh, that is the heart of. Yeah, that's the heart of.
Watch one of those tear-jerky movies this weekend. Like, find something that's just going to crack that heart open and allow just the tears to stream. Truly. Crack yourself. Allow yourself. Lose yourself. Dive into your fear. Seriously. I'm afraid I'll lose myself. I'm afraid I'll never come back. I'm afraid I'll be judged. I'm afraid I'll look horrible. My eyes will be puffy. I'm afraid people are going to think I'm weird. There's something wrong with me. I'm afraid. Be afraid. Dive into your fears. We have until August 8th for this gateway that it shifts into another energy. And these are potent times with the Syrian gateway, because again, it's cleaning out their cobwebs. But because we're so empathic, they're not cobwebs. They're like a litter all over the house because of our empathic abilities. And so you're feeling that because you are that sensitive. And it's calling you again into your majesty, into your regalness. We're all being called into that, y'all. We're all being called into that authority, that leadership within ourselves, because as we allow that light to shine with that authority, there's no mistaking it. You own who you be. Anytime you doubt that, you dim that light. And the world that we're in now does not need dim lights. It needs you fully activated. So damn it, fully activate yourself. Dare to do it, but do it for yourself first. Do it for little Michelle. Do it for Em.
I will.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. All right, let's continue here. Hey, Jesse, let's go to you. Welcome.
Hello, brother.
Hello, sir.
Thanks for calling on me. I was resonating a lot with how you kind of ended your chat today with the kind of understanding where to resonate with people that sometimes you feel you're helping buoy alongside your energy, or rather, and whether I need to help them or to help myself, and then help them, So I guess I'm just kind of looking for a little bit of guidance and clarity, from you or maybe from your guides, and just kind of seeing, if there's anything that comes up in guiding that for me,
What if you take away the energy of helping and you come into the awareness that you're entering into a relational dynamic and where there's exchanges happening? Because in the helping energy, there seems to be like this give and this take. One person is superior and the other person isn't. One person is in victimhood, the other person is in authority. It's not that that relation doesn't happen, but you relieve yourself of the pressure of how to show up and who to be. If you just authentically show up as you and automatically show up, just your presence, because there's no expectancy. The relational dynamics and where we expect something to occur because we're in that particular relationship are dying as creative models, because what we're creating as co-creators and inputting our energy into that is buoying us into another level of collaborative energetic attunement that is taking us to a higher state of vibration. As the light merges, it expands into a brighter light. So everybody's light is of equal value. And if you happen to have an amplitude where someone else can plug into and light up a little brighter, it kind of happens through osmosis, just through the love and the authority of your light. Mm-hmm. But the authority of your light doesn't have to be shared. So I have something you don't, or I can help you when you're down. It's okay. We're in this together, and let's share. Let's see what's happening. And if someone wants to be helped directly, they will ask. If someone wants to change because they see something they like in you and they're asking, how do you do that? They'll show up for that. If someone wants to be helped, they will somehow communicate that with you. And it doesn't have to be verbally. It happens in resonance. It happens in energetic dynamics. It happens through our empathic telepathy. And you're so in tune, Jesse, that you'll just respond to that. And also respond to your intuitive guidance, to your guide speaking through you. And they'll nudge you. And some of those things may feel uncomfortable. Tell this person so-and-so. It's like, I'm not going to tell them that. Tell them that. I'm not going to tell them that. You're freaking crazy. This is a message from them. Tell them that. And if you're not sure, ask 3 times. Whenever I get those messages, sometimes I ask 10. Because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to say that or ask that or share this. But it keeps insisting. And in that, I dare to be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I get to autocorrect. And if I'm right, then beautiful.
Right. Thank you, Jean. That's very helpful. It's just a matter of just shifting my perspective a little bit, is what you're saying, right? Just shifting the perspective from being there to help somebody, but just understand the energy flow that's happening between that person, right? To allow that.
Yeah. If someone's paying you to coach them and to help them, the agreement's already clear and there's an exchange already happening. So of course. in intimate relationships, like, oh, how's this showing up? And then be aware of where there's more of a trauma bond or like this karmic thing that may be happening in the help, where it's like, if you're constantly being depleted of your energy, then maybe there's something else happening there that isn't necessarily the type of help that would be most beneficial to you or to them. Maybe the karma's finishing and you're aware of that. But if that's the case, maybe you can also ask, is there another way to complete this karma and that's more efficient, that's more loving, that supports me right now and that supports them right now in the most expeditious and loving way? And you're so in tune that I think you will come up with that answer pretty quickly. Did you have a specific question around that, or just a general question?
Well, it's specific to my relationship with my partner, and we are shifting a lot of patterns and trauma, and but yeah, sometimes my energy does feel very depleted by my partner, and it's something that's challenging for me, where I feel like I'm constantly transmuting lower vibrational energies sometimes to support my partner, but I end up then feeling resentful or sometimes drained myself by doing that. And so I'm I find myself balancing that thought of, is it better to be without it? Or is it better, or are these things beneficial for me still on a karmic path together, So.
And the thought of that and hurting of another, but still diminishing yourself on the either or is difficult. And these are the type of circumstances, especially in partnerships, that are going to ask you to rise into brave conversations. And it could be with a partner's like, you know what, I really felt drained by it. It's not you. I understand there's a dynamic. It's like, what came up for you? Or this came up for me. This is my experience. Or, I love you and I just have to share the truth. I was resentful that this came up in this way. It's like, what's coming up for you? Or what's your experience with it? And maybe you can hear out my resentment, because I don't want to carry resentment with you if we're together or not together. I don't want to have that if I've shared love and the intimacy and I've opened you up as my primary, I want to have the freedom to express these things to you, so that there be resolution and upliftment, rather than something that is going to lead to a separation that we're going to have to recover from and hold boundaries for, and is not in the truth of the love in which we first met. Because the truth is, no matter in what relationship you've been in and that you've ended, that the love that was there always continues to exist. And so you want to carry that forward in a very conscious way, rather than promoting any dense energies that would tend to keep you safe, that would tend to keep you in boundaries. If the person's available for that. If they're not available for it, and it's perpetually happening and it's draining you, then yeah, it's time to cut it off. It's, again, you get to hold this doorway and you get to receive the dignity of being met there. And you can allow others on a continuous basis to try to meet you there. But if it's constantly trying to drag you down, eventually you have to say, this just isn't working. It doesn't seem like I'm the person for you if this is what you need. And in that, it's like, take a break or transform the relationship, or have them go into counseling to see, but at the same time, allow your creative energies to split just enough to see what the dynamics are that are truly showing up, to see how you can merge back together if that's going to happen. So there's a lot of
right
that can go into very personal dynamics. But really it's holding your dignity and standards in place and holding dignity for them as well. But that doesn't mean that we have to remain intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes some of the most compassionate things that we can do is hold another while they're going through their stuff and love them and hold the energy and the vibration of it. Sometimes the most loving thing that we can do is like, hey, I have to let you go. You have to go through this, and I get that. And blessings, and I can support you from over here. And sometimes it's just a solo journey. Right. You'll get there. It sounds like you're getting much closer to one of those two.
Absolutely. Thank you. It's very helpful, John. Thank you.
All right, Jesse, blessings to you.
Blessings.
All right, let's go to JG. Welcome.
Hi.
Hello.
So I would love a card pulled.
Annie, I love that you asked for a card. Yes.
Yeah, I would love it because I've been manifesting a large sum of money and I'm on a new journey. I called him a couple times ago, I don't know, a month ago, and I was starting a new career. That's still on pause because this came into my path and I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe this is the universe. I would love it
amazing.
if you could pull me something.
I will do that. And as I'm shuffling the card, April, are you on the line? If you're on the line, will you put the link to the Light membership in the chat box, please? Let me see if April does that. So I want to invite you guys into the membership as well. And again, the membership, we meet 3 to 4 times a month.
What time? Mountain Standard Time?
I'm playing with the times a little bit, but right now it's 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Okay, so 6.
The same time that we run on the show.
Okay.
Is April putting that link up? April, hello. I'll put it up for you guys in a second. But it's livingintheextraordinary.com. As a matter of fact, let me type it in here now really quickly.
Yeah, no problem.
My assistant has abandoned me today. I'm in victim mode. Where's the link? Actually, let me pull it up for you guys. Lame. I should have had this ready. Oh, cool. Okay. I'm going to share 2 links. I'm so glad I did this. So if y'all haven't done this already, I sent it out to the list quite a while ago. There's 2 sites. There's April. Hello. Okay. Living Extraordinary is the membership. Y'all click on that and go through it. You'll see what you receive. Again, it's awesome. The people in there are amazing. And we have a private Facebook group. I don't interact there too much because I want to keep it community based and you guys sharing your insights, your tools where you're growing into. And again, we meet 3-4 times a month, 90 minutes at a time. It's a small group. So I take a lot of Q&A, a lot of interaction from people that show up for the calls. And then I want to share with you guys the link for my personal site, which is johnburgos.co. That link that I sent you, that may actually be the download page. So you don't even have to opt in probably. That's going to take you to an alchemical meditation that I put out a while back. And this is a meditation on reverse engineering your future and how to bring in what you want now from the future. And I have to tell you, it's a marathon of a meditation. And I did that on purpose. It's an hour long. And the reason I did that is because I want you to be able to hold that field steady of the vibration of what you're trying to bring in for a long enough time that you can bring it in immediately, that it starts showing up for you with a few practices, that the resonance of that is something that you can hold consistently rather than just kind of glimpsing it and go back in, glimpsing and go back in. If y'all do that meditation once a week for a few weeks, you'll start getting into that vibrational accord. And again, it's long. I'm warning y'all, but it's effective. All right, the link for Living Extraordinary is up there. johnburgos.co is up there. Go to Living Extraordinary though. And if you guys sign up for that, we'll get you the meditation as well. So no worries about that. All right, Jenny, tell me when to stop shuffling.
You can stop now.
All right, I'm going to pick a card for you. I'm excited for you.
I'm excited too. I'm feeling it. And I'm feeling like things are coming in from my vortex. I'm starting to see way more stuff just being like, hey, there it is.
This is an interesting card, and I wouldn't have anticipated pulling this for you, but it's the 7 of Swords. Can you see it?
Yeah.
The 7. I'm going to read it. So she's got the moon crescent on there with the 7 swords look like they're going into different parts of her body, but the 1 sword standing strong with the light around it. So let's see if that message is for you and give it context for your energy.
Awesome.
The 7 of Swords. So 7 of Swords often illustrates a challenge that may be associated with some type of dishonesty, deceit, or illusion.
Oh no.
Whether on the part of yourself or someone else. It gets better though, I promise. It can also indicate an avoidance of truth, with consequences that become apparent when least expected. If there's some kind of secrecy taking place, a new approach or solution is highly encouraged. Omitting the truth is rarely a good idea, especially if a positive outcome is desired in the end. It's also advised that you remain cautious with others who may not have your best interests at heart. Perhaps now is the time to lay out everything on the table and communicate from a place of integrity, a time for clarity and truth. And the key words in this are selfishness, betrayal, suffrage, secrecy, and egoism. Could something be hidden? Could something hidden be hurtful to another? Are there any forces that are existing or exerting pressure on me? Does any of that resonate for you?
I don't know how. No, it's not really resonating, especially if I'm looking at this opportunity. It is kind of secretive in the sense that it's new to market and I'm helping them raise capital for it. So he's kind of tight-lipped on things, but just the way things have kind of panned out, like when we were negotiating a finder's fee, I said, well, it could be anywhere from 2 to 5%. And he's like, no, that's too low. I'll give you 7. So like, if he wanted to like mess me up or screw me over, so to speak, he probably would have gone for the 2%. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Just be aware in any communication between you and anyone else, if there's any type of holding back a little bit for the sake of getting something, like revealing just with total clarity just what is, then just be aware of that and watch if you see people telling half truths to gain what they want. And it's just an awareness. It's not that anything has to be wrong, but with the energy that you're carrying and in the integrity that you carry it in, for me, it's a message for you to be met in that in every relational dynamic. It's like, you do not have to lower your standards of your integrity for the sake of someone else getting what they want. And so for you to be in that, just pay attention. And again, it's not saying that it's happening, but it's good to be in the awareness of it. And
and that resonates with me in the sense that I'm very trusting and open. Like I just say whatever I want and I'm really open. So I think being aware of
and continue that. And so be aware where others perhaps aren't doing that. And it could even be, are you in a partnership or a marriage?
I'm in a new relationship, which I'm like totally vibing. Things are good. And that's another thing that I feel like has been coming into my vortex. I was in a bad relationship. He ended up we were together for a year, went to Jamaica, met a girl in Jamaica with his sons that have knew me for the past year and cheated while he was there. And so he's now coming into my messaging me here and there, and I'm wanting to be there as a friend for him.
There you go. There's the betrayal. Be careful of the energy of betrayal. Boom. Lies, deceit, betrayal.
No.
Why would you be with someone who lied to you and betrayed you?
I feel bad for him, to be honest. Ultimately, that is the bottom line. Like, he has no guy friends. He's going through a depression. He messaged me being like, I'm like, are you really happy with this girl? Because this girl lived in Ontario. He lives in Calgary. So he took a long distance relationship with this girl that he met on holidays and broke up with me.
Yeah, just take a breath.
Which is fine. It is fine, but I do feel sad for him. I feel like he has no one and he's by himself and has depression. So I'm taking that on when I shouldn't, but
you're choosing to take it on. And I want you to repeat after me.
Okay.
I choose me.
I choose me. I do choose me. Thank you, John.
I choose me.
It's funny because I did an energy clearing with my guy, and he was like, what are you going to do after this call? And I was like, because we cut the cord because we connected again. So he cut a cord. And he's like, what are you going to do after this call? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go meet my boyfriend. And he's like, no, what are you going to do for after this call? And then I was like, I don't know. And he's like, you're going to delete his contact and block him from all social media. And I was like, yeah, okay, I will. But I still haven't done it. So it's funny that this is like zoomed in. Yeah. So,
and it's not even about deleting from social media or blocking them, but it's like, it's, you know, our relational dynamic shifted, and my agreement with you when we were in a relationship was one thing, but that's not my agreement any longer. And this energy that you're asking of me, I'm giving to someone else who's willing to meet me in that. And I'm saying this out of compassion and love for you, not because I need to. I don't need to explain myself, but said that if you really want to be a friend, that you understand the standards that I'm holding, and that I won't betray myself. Because I won't do that.
Yeah, so true.
And then you can cut them off from social media. Then you can do that. Don't just block for the sake of blocking. Really,
That's strong. Not me. I know. I don't want to just cut people off like that, but I do think that the shift has happened. And like I've said it even to my best friend, where I was like, it will never ever be the same. Even if we're friends, it will still never be the same. So, yeah.
There'll be a lot of forgiveness that you'll need to do to be able to trust, to be able to decide what type of friends you want in your life.
Yeah, not this kind.
And there's forgiveness and all that. And maybe it will be your friend. And there's a conversation, or not even a conversation. There's a conversation you can have with yourself and how you're willing to hold that friendship, but also see where perhaps you're leaking energy that can be funneled into your business, that can be funneled in your relationship, that can be funneled in other things that are really going to serve you. The leaking of energy as these new things are rising is not something that you want to perpetuate, because you're in this rising phase, it feels like. So feed yourself, then you'll be able to feed others in a different way. All right, love.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks for calling in.
Hey.
All right, let's go to another caller. How about we go to, let's continue here. Cindy, welcome.
Hi, John. Hello. So I'm excited. I would love a card draw, but I would say I'm doing a lot of clearing. I've been kind of in a traditional marriage with him making the money, and I'm creating and flowing in a women's group and leading that and heading that. And I'm in this dynamic of honoring the fact that I have the space to not have to charge people, and that I don't have to create a business per se, that my flow of money is fine. But then there's also a little bit of resistance from that old pattern of wanting to break out of that, you needing someone to have financial stability, but it's also my gift, and I know I called it in. So I'm just kind of trying to create this new energy, and I've been working a little bit with, so I just want some clearance and guidance on, I can happily shine my light without being financially, but there's also that joy of being financially independent. Or not independent.
Yeah, so
it's funny.
how about if it can be fun to make money?
Yeah.
Just for the fun of it. Wherever it can just be fun to make money. If you're teaching other women about business, about entrepreneurship and all that, I think one of the best things that you can teach them is it's freaking fun to make money.
Yeah.
Really. It's an energy, and that's an energy of receiving. And that really helps to transmute the receiving that your spouse is giving to you. It's an energy of receiving, in the fun, in the partnership, in the co-creation that feels like there's levity and a beautiful, intimate exchange and agreement that's taken place. Not that it's always up here, but that there's navigation of what's available, and where we can receive in gratitude and give that gratitude to another. We expand what is given exponentially. When one thing is given, it becomes four. When it is received in gratitude. When it is given without expectation and received in gratitude. And if you have that dynamic where there's no expectation and you can say thank you with so much gratitude, oh my God, love, feed that as much as you can.
Okay.
Really, just like, but if there's expectation, then it's, hey, what's the exchange we have here and why? And I'm feeling kind of trapped by this expectation because I want to flow in other ways. And I want to have a relational dynamic where the freedom of giving and receiving is the grace that keeps us together rather than the shackles that have us tethered for fear that we're not going to get what we want. So if you can have in your fun in your relationship or receiving of your spouse, you can teach that so organically to the women in your group. It's fun to make money. And you can receive money from that as well. And you can set up parameters. Okay, we're going to do this for 3 months, 6 months, or a year. And we're going to do this as you build your business. And then after a year, maybe you want to donate from your profits because you receive so much. But after 12 months, I'm going to start charging. And this is what it's going to be. And all I ask from you is give me 2 referrals or give me 3 at the end of the, whatever, or next month I'm going to start charging. Whatever you want to do, but bring joy into it. Bring fun, levity.
I like fun.
I can tell, yeah. And again, just open your heart to receive. And for women, it's interesting. It's like, well, I'm receiving because I'm beautiful, or I'm receiving because I give that, or I'm receiving because I'm a mother, or I'm receiving because there's a sexual exchange, or I'm receiving because I'm helping him be more confident, or it's like, I mean, just receive just because. And I'm speaking into deep dynamics that run through our culture of how we gift through the sexes, the relational dynamics. So if y'all are offended, I'm sorry, but it's just the truth.
No, it's the truth.
And if y'all want to be offended, good, be offended. I hope that you all want to spark something, right? What's that trigger? And so, all right, so what happens when I'm 60 and not as pretty anymore? You're not going to give me anymore? And are you going to cut me off? Right? Which is like, she's going to find someone else who's prettier.
Right. No, it's more my fear, but it's also me feeling as though, do I need to create a business? Like staying in the play, but if I can stay in the play and in the wisdom, and then people start saying, well, you should, I can pay you for the wisdom and for the value energy exchange. I know I need to create probably. Okay, so that's what it is. I need to create a value of an energy exchange. Maybe. I don't typically do one-on-one sessions, Cindy, but like one-off sessions. But if you're ever interested as you go into the business side of it and you're creating your platform, if you want to do a couple of one-off sessions, it's like we can tune in if you want. And again, just as an offer, you don't have to take up on it, but I like what you're doing and what you're creating. So if I can support it, that'd be wonderful. I'm going to pull a card for you. Okay, great. You just froze. Interesting.
Cut off again.
Okay, here we go. You're back.
Okay, I'm pulling a card now. This is fun for me, y'all. Thank you so much. Oh, I love this. You're the 10 of Wands.
Ooh.
Oh, this is such a great card for you. This is powerful. Look how she's standing in front of the moon, receiving the moonbeams and the wands at her side. This is such a strong, and this is, I'm going to read it too.
Okay.
Oh, living in the extraordinary, our membership site. But we'll do some of this. We'll do a lot of Q&A. There's a lot of channel transmissions. I just get on and I just go a lot of times for like 30, 40 minutes. And then we open up to questions. But it's such a fun community. All right. The 10 of Wands, and the link's in the chat box. I think, April, will you put the link one more time in the chat box just to make it easy? Awesome. She'll do it in a second. So the 10 of Wands reflects our sense of being overburdened by responsibilities. When we find ourselves overworked or somehow out of balance, and this is the out of balance. It's like, where do I charge? What do I don't? Where's it balancing out? What's right? The appearance of this card may also indicate an emotional attachment or experiencing that you're still harboring, which is depleting your energy and distracting you from fully receiving the positive blessings in your life. I'm not going to ask. I'm just reading right now. Your initial aspirations or dreams may also seem faded from your present situation if you're losing your creative momentum or drive. So again, get back into that creativity, get back into the fun of it. So this is an invitation into that. Like why? Get back into the why you created this, not the how, or not how you're going to make money because you're supposed to. Get back into your why. Like really, like let that be the inspiration, the light that lights you up. And then it can light everybody else up, but you have to be lit up first, Cindy.
Yeah. Which is why I feel like, do I change it into a business versus just a wisdom thing? Because it is fun. I love it. Whew.
Why wouldn't you turn it into a business?
A little bit of the Aries in me likes my freedom. And I'm also at a point too where I can do a lot of travel with my husband, and he's about to shift into more freedom, like a retirement type. So it's almost like, even though there's so much joy in it, then I feel like it's a whole new schedule that I need to participate in. So yeah.
What if you can have both?
Yes.
I do my show everywhere around the world. I book speakers, I do interviews, I do coaching calls, I travel all the time. And yeah, there's a balance of a give and take, but I get so much from being on the show. Yeah. I get so much from traveling. And so why not both?
Okay.
Why not both? I'm going to finish reading you the. Now may be a good time to accept help from others and prioritize what is truly necessary. Help from others can also be receiving financial resources from people paying you. I'm just saying, it doesn't have to be. How are you gaining wisdom from your actions? What can you remove or cut out in order to reduce some of the pressure on yourself? So if you're pressuring yourself out of an illusion that you have to make money, that's one thing. If you're feeling a nudge or like this, like something's out of balance here, and you do need to charge money, then listen to that. Only you know the answer to that. But I can tell you that eventually as you teach, you put work out there and wisdom on it, that the energetic exchange of money is a good reciprocating factor on how the wisdom is received. So I hired a consultant a long time ago, 15 years ago, to help me with my business. And it turned into spiritual development really quickly. And what she charged me, I nearly fell out of my chair when she told me how much it was. And I knew I needed to do it anyway. And I asked my wife at the time, hey, I'm spending this big amount of money. What do you think? It's for 10 weeks, but it's a lot. It's like, she's like, if you feel you need to do it, do it. And I paid it. And I dove into the work and I did everything she asked me to, because it was a big investment. I was in. My life changed. Seriously, the dam broke open. Yeah. I did a 180 as to where I thought I was going and what else open. And I became a new person. And by the time of the 10 weeks over, it's like, I want to go again. Let's re-up. I'm ready to pay again. She's like, can't take you on as a client anymore. It's like, what are you talking about? I'd pay you 10 times the amount that you asked me to go through this again. She's like, can't take you on as a client anymore. I was like, what do you mean? She was, in the 25 years I've been doing this, no one has caught on to this work like you have. I don't really have anything to teach you. You can join me and we can build something together and you can grow that way. But I can't charge you for sessions anymore. She even told me, my guides even told me I had to charge you. I wanted to give you these sessions. And the guide's like, if you don't charge him, he's not going to do the work.
Yeah.
He's not going to receive it. I was invested. Is your husband invested? I bet you he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He enjoys it.
Each other? Absolutely.
He enjoys it.
The people that you're helping invested, and there's going to be a point where the investment in what you give is going to require another type of exchange, because you'll outgrow the community if you're not getting that exchange.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, love. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, blessings to you.
Light and love.
Light and love. All right, y'all. We're going to have another one of these calls again, because this is so much fun. So many people, so many of y'all over your hands raised that we're going to get to. Join me on Living in the Extraordinary. Of course, you can always join for free on Beyond the Ordinary. Our next call is next Tuesday. If you sign up for Light, which again, the link is in the chat box, I believe. April, you put the link in the chat box one more time, please. livingintheextraordinary.com. There it is. You're so good. Yeah, I hope you guys can join me there. If not, I'll see you on the BTO calls. Remember that your light is seeking to be amplified and is. So don't hold back your love. If you're in doubt, it's okay to be in doubt. Reach out for a hand that can help bring you clarity to yourself. And just know that it's love that's carrying you forward. Always. Always. Don't get fooled by the illusion that something else is leading. Love outnumbers the fear 1,000,000 to 1. It just does. All right. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next BTO call and hopefully in the Light membership. Y'all take care.